Happening now, we have the latest on a string of Jamestown break-ins that has many residents on the lookout. And major changes are coming to multiple bridges across Chautauqua County, including Interstate 86. Plus, the June primary election is almost here. We tell you what you need to know.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Bronson Rasmussen. Those stories and more are coming up. But first, a recent string of break-ins in the city's south side has residents on the lookout for suspicious activity. Now, these videos here were caught on a Ring doorbell camera last week and show an unidentified individual wearing a hoodie breaking into several cars near Van Buren Street through Baker Street in the city of Jamestown. Now, it is uncertain if the same individual is in each video. The first robbery took place 2 weeks ago on June 12th and is reported that personal belongings were stolen out of a car. The next two break-ins were during the early hours of last Saturday, resulting in an undisclosed amount of cash being stolen out of a car. Now, WNY News Now has reached out to Jamestown Police Department for a comment and are currently waiting a response. Well, the man who pled guilty in two separate fatal vehicle crashes has also pled guilty in federal court for weapons charges. U.S. Attorney E. Ross announced Wednesday that Randall Rolson admitted to being a felon in possession of firearms and ammunition. The charges carries a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Rolson has also pled guilty to second-degree manslaughter for the death of 15-year-old Alexis Lexi Hugan on New Year's Eve of 2021. He also pled guilty to aggravated vehicular homicide that killed 71-year-old South Dayton resident Linda Kramer less than a year later. As part of that plea, the local weapons charges against Rolson were dropped. Sentencing for the federal charges is scheduled for December 19, 2023, before U.S. District Judge John Sinatra. A police call for a suspicious vehicle revealed a drunk driver slumped behind the wheel in the town of Mena over the weekend. Officers with the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Department responded to a call on Bailey Hill Road in Clymer for reports of a suspicious vehicle parked in a resident's driveway. Upon arrival, deputies found the vehicle still running, with the driver slumped over behind the wheel. Officers identified the driver as 25-year-old Erie, PA resident Martin Winkler. Police allege Winkler of operating the vehicle while intoxicated when he pulled into the driveway. He was then arrested and charged with DWI and DWI per se, where he was given appearance tickets. An $87.2 million project to fix Chautauqua County's Interstate 86 bridge and finish a multimodal highway improvement project broke ground Tuesday. The Interstate 86 bridge over Chautauqua Lake itself is receiving a $78 million grant for necessary repairs. The four bridge structures sprawling over Chautauqua Lake will be getting new surfaces and necessary repairs to promote safety, ease travel, and help resist wear and tear. The project will extend the lifespan of the bridge by roughly 40 years by replacing and updating concrete bridge decks, bridge barriers, bearings, and outdated steel parts over the course of 4 construction seasons.
We're here to announce a $78 million bridge rehabilitation project on the Southern Tier Expressway. This is on top of the $4.7 million highway improvement project that we are now nearing completion in Jamestown. So I know those of you that have been enduring some of the traffic delays in Jamestown, we're coming close. We're almost done. Give us till the end of the month here, but it'll be exciting.
The multi-highway improvement project consists of merging 4 lanes of traffic to 3 on Washington Street in the city of Jamestown, allowing for the addition of a 2-way left turn lane. 11 traffic signs will also be replaced or repaired, and 1 new traffic light will be hung on West 6th Street at Whiteley Avenue. Pedestrian safety has also been improved with the installation of new curb ramps, crosswalks, crosswalk signals, and new bicycle lanes. Work on the bridge is expected to last for 4 construction seasons. The local June 2023 primary election will be held next week, taking place from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m. on Tuesday, June 27th. At several limited locations across Chautauqua County, voters can cast their ballot for the primary election. Eligible voters must be enrolled in a political party that has a primary election within their district. All others will not have a primary this year. To find active locations and to determine the eligibility to vote in the primary election, residents are urged to visit the county's Board of Elections website. Now, results of the election will also be posted on the county's website, with early votes first appearing as shortly as 9 p.m. Tuesday. While switching gears a little bit, we'll get a check of our first weather forecast with Chief Forecaster Andrew Stevenson. And I'm hearing a 4-letter word that rhymes with rain.
And it's not snow. I mean, I could tell you snow's coming, but then I would get angry letters in the mail. And no, there's no snow coming, but we do have some light rain showers on first offense Doppler radar. Other than that, mostly cloudy skies across the region outside of these pockets of some light rain showers. Well, today the drought monitor was updated, and most of the region across western New York and northwestern Pennsylvania remain under a moderate drought. We have had some rain recently, but not enough rain to improve this, but we will have more rain on the way heading over the next few days into the weekend, so we will see if by this time next week it will be we're getting any improvement. Hopefully we do get some improvement headed into next week. The almanac for today, we made it to a high of 80 degrees yesterday in the city of Jamestown. Our low for the day yesterday was 61. The records for today, 92. The record high set back in 1988, and a record low of 40 degrees set back in 1992. So here is your first offense weather forecast for the rest of the afternoon out there. Generally mostly cloudy skies for the rest of the afternoon. Some periods of scattered showers are possible for the afternoon with an east wind of 7 to 15 miles per hour, and highs today will be in the low to mid 70s, although it will feel quite humid out there as the dew points reach close to 60. I'll have a look at that full forecast, including more rain on the way, coming up in just a few minutes.
Alrighty, Andrew, we'll see you then. As WNY News Now continues, we have the latest in the death of a PA state trooper and what the shooter's sister has to say about mental health. And later, on the Fairness Act in Pennsylvania, aiming to extend protections for LGBTQ individuals in the Keystone State. Stay with us, as WNY News Now will be right back.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
3-on-3 basketball returns to Jamestown, New York this summer. Collaborative Children's Solutions and partners are hosting a Gus Macker tournament August 19th and 20th in Brooklyn Square. The streets will be packed with a festival atmosphere, bringing the youngest of our Macker mites up to the adult players who compete for the top prize in their divisions. Register online at Macker.com before July 31st. The Jamestown Macker will also include some specialty competitions, making it one of the best community events of the year.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
This is WNY News Now with live breaking news.
Just into our newsroom, we have heard that a debris field has been found near the wreck of the Titanic. Now, this could potentially be the sub that has been lost in the area. We will update you as more information on this becomes available. In other news, the last official day of legislative session is upon us. The Senate wrapped up over a week ago, and the Assembly adjourned until this week. Our New York State Capitol correspondent, Elise Klein, she talks to lawmakers and gives us an update.
In the final hours of legislative session, the New York State Assembly debates a handful of remaining bills on a variety of issues. Yesterday, the Assembly passed legislation that would authorize filing motions to vacate judgment for a conviction that was decriminalized. Some Democratic lawmakers say this legislation is an important step for criminal justice reform.
At the end of the day, we need to take good steps forward on correcting a lot of wrongs that we've done in our justice system.
While some Republican lawmakers say it's important to prevent wrongful convictions, this legislation goes too far.
And this just seems like another policy advanced by the Assembly and Senate Democrats, or criminal justice policies that continue to tip the scales of justice and favor the interests of criminals over the interests of crime victims and law enforcement.
One bill taken off the table would further the process of the Seneca Nation of Indians Gaming Compact. The bill would pre-authorize the governor to sign the compact once an agreement is met. The Assembly Speaker announced Friday evening the Assembly will not be voting on this compact. Assemblymember Palmisano says he is supportive of the vote being pushed off.
There's a number of concerns, and I think the idea of the news that was leaking out that the Senecas are looking to build a casino in the Rochester Finger Lakes area, and that's got a lot of people concerned, including myself. I'm adamantly opposed to a casino being built in the Rochester Finger Lakes area.
In Albany, Elise Klein, WNY News Now.
We are learning more about the armed man who engaged Pennsylvania state police officers in a gun battle over the weekend in central Pennsylvania. The battle killed Trooper Jack Ragu Jr., a Corey native, and critically wounded Lieutenant James Wagner, who was serving as a station commander in Lewiston that day. State troopers shot and killed Brandon Stein to stop the shooting spree that stretched over 3 different locations. Now, we reached out to Stein's sister, Christina Stein Hummel. In a statement, she told us that her brother was unraveling from mental health issues. Previously, he had struggled, but she said that he had always bounced back. Christina said that recently her brother began thinking people were out to get him again, that the smoky skies from forest fires were nerve gas from the government, that his food and water supply was contaminated with poison. She went on to say that Brandon believed he was targeted. She says that he was exhausted from days of no sleep and minimal food and water, and tired of fighting for his life. She said that she was sharing thoughts about these struggles because she hopes someone else hears it who needs to hear it and gets help, because mental health issues are unpredictable and real. She also made it clear that she wasn't making excuses and that they never thought something like this could happen. Now, her full statement can be found on our website at WNYNewsNow.com. The average test scores for 13-year-olds are still on the decline. Well, that's according to a new report from the National Assessment of Educational Progress and Education Leaders. They say that the coronavirus pandemic is a big reason as of why. Researchers assessed students from October to December of the 2022 and 2023 school year. Then they compared that assessment to the one administered during the 2019 and 2020 school year. They found that last year's test scores were down 4 points in reading and 9 in math. The report also showed a bigger gap between white and black student test scores. There was a 13-point score difference among black students, compared to a 6-point decrease among white students. While members of the LGBTQ community, advocates, and Democratic lawmakers called on the state Senate to vote on the Fairness Act. This legislation, House Bill 300, passed the House in May and would extend protections for LGBTQ individuals in Pennsylvania. A 2020 Supreme Court decision ruled an employer cannot discriminate against an individual because of their sexual orientation or gender identity. However, advocates and say that it does not prevent LGBTQ Pennsylvanians from being denied housing, education, or access to public accommodations.
They should not have to worry about losing a job. They shouldn't have to worry about losing a place to live. They shouldn't have to worry about being denied some public accommodation because we do not have adequate protections in Pennsylvania law.
The bill still needs committee approval before it can receive a full vote in the Republican-controlled Senate. Coming up, it has been almost 1 year since Roe v. Wade has been overturned. Now, we look to the future, and later, meat grown in a test tube? We look at that coming up. But first, we take a look at our full weather forecast.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
3-on-3 basketball returns to Jamestown, New York this summer. Collaborative Children's Solutions and partners are hosting a Gus Macker tournament August 19th and 20th in Brooklyn Square. The streets will be packed with a festival atmosphere, bringing the youngest of our Mackermites up to the adult players who compete for the top prize in their divisions. Register online at Macker.com before July 31st. The Jamestown Macker will also include some specialty competitions, making it one of the best community events of the year.
WNY News Now is covering stories that matter to you.
15-year-old Yadiel Diaz was subject to a public humiliation stunt by a fellow student in an act of violence and bullying. Now Yadiel's mother, Raquel, has had enough.
Officials are trying to work with the county's homeless coalition to help support the homeless population locally. There are also plans in the works to build 2 new shelters.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first. Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
Fast, accurate, and every day. First Defense weather.
Welcome back to WNY News Now. Current conditions in downtown Jamestown. We're under mostly cloudy skies right now. 65 degrees is the current temperature at the Jamestown Airport as of the noon hour, with an east wind of 12 miles per hour, and the dew point currently stands at 56 degrees. Well, let's take a trip down to Texas for an unfortunate situation being reported out of Texas. Now, last night, parts of Texas and the Panhandle saw multiple tornadoes, but there was not one place that was worse than Matador, Texas, where around 8 p.m. Central Time last night, a deadly tornado moved through the small town of about 500 people, and reports are coming of multiple damage to homes and buildings down there, as well as 4 people confirmed dead and 10 people injured. Now, the National Weather Service is out there surveying the damage today, but based on damage reports and video from how big the tornado was, being reported as a wedge tornado, this could be on the higher end of the EF scale, and my thoughts and prayers go out to the people down there in Texas dealing with this deadly tornado. Back here across our portion of the region, here are the weather headlines for the week ahead. Mainly dry weather will continue across the region through the day, outside of a couple of showers, although heading into the weekend will be quite warm and humid through the weekend, with chances for showers and thunderstorms both tomorrow and Saturday, and there will be possibility of some localized flooding from these showers and storms for Friday and Saturday. Here's what's happening across the Northeast right now. We still have this high pressure ridge, but that high pressure ridge across Canada is starting to weaken, and it's allowing this low pressure to bring some moisture up into the region, and that low pressure system will continue to slowly inch northward over the next few days. So let's time it out on future scan through the rest of the afternoon out there. Generally mostly cloudy skies across the region, maybe a few scattered showers possible this afternoon and heading into the evening. We should go mostly cloudy skies through the night tonight, and then those showers will begin to arrive tomorrow. Now, tomorrow will not be a complete washout, but there will be periods of showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon, a few of which could contain some heavy downpours, and that will continue through the night Saturday, through the night Friday, and into today on Saturday. Now, once again, the Weather Prediction Center has issued a Day 2 excessive rainfall outlook, this time across most of the southern tier and northwestern Pennsylvania, and there's a 5% chance that anywhere within 25 miles of location could see excessive rainfall from these showers and thunderstorms that could potentially potentially result in some flash flooding. So we'll keep an eye out on that tomorrow and Saturday. And now the extended forecast powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. Temperatures over the next few days will be in the 70s, but with humidity and dew points in the 60s, it will feel quite muggy and humid out there and downright sticky. And I know no one likes that sticky feeling out there, but at least there'll be chances for rain pretty much in the forecast every single day through the weekend and into next week. And again, this will not be complete widespread rain constantly, but we will have periods of rain and thunderstorms to contend with pretty much through the middle of next week.
All right, Andrew, thank you very much. Can't wait to go see some thunderstorms. And now for some headlines from across the nation. Almost 1 year ago, the Supreme Court shut down Roe v. Wade. The ruling made abortion legal across the U.S., and as we approach the anniversary of that decision, senators are planning to take up abortion legislation. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp reports.
Around 1 year ago, the Supreme Court overturned the landmark Roe v. Wade ruling. It was a nearly 50-year decision that legalized abortion in the U.S. A year later, Senate Republicans and Democrats are still divided on the court's decision.
For 50 years, Roe v. Wade protected our reproductive freedom and our right to make our own health care decisions. For 50 years. Then 1 year ago, it suddenly was gone.
So for us, we're celebrating a Dobbs decision. We're celebrating the option to be able to be turned back to the American people where it was before, to be able to make the decision about the value of every single child.
To mark the year anniversary of the court's decision, Senate Democrats plan to put 4 pieces of abortion legislation on the floor. 1, access to contraception and birth control. 2, guaranteeing women can travel freely across state lines for health care. 3, bolstering data privacy for online health and location data. And 4, protecting doctors and medical professionals for continuing to provide abortion care. We expect Democrats to ask for a procedure of unanimous consent on the legislation. It's a procedural step that allows any single senator to ask for a vote on the bill. But any objection from a single Republican lawmaker would result in the bill's failure. It's a quick way to force a vote on the issue.
What the Dobbs decision essentially said and did was return that decision back to the states, where it should have been decided in the first place.
Republicans deep down want to ban abortions for everyone, everywhere. So that's why this week, our senators behind me will be asking consent on common sense legislation to protect women's most fundamental rights.
In Washington, D.C., Rachel Knapp reporting.
Currently, as things stand, we expect all 4 of those measures to fail on the Senate floor. A Russian court upheld a decision to extend the detention of Wall Street journalist reporter Evan Greshnak. This video is of the detained reporter appearing in a Moscow courtroom. Now he is accused of spying, something he, the journal, and the U.S. government very much deny. Now he was arrested in March on espionage charges and faces up to 20 years in prison if convicted. The State Department has called this process a sham. Now this is the first U.S. journalist arrested in Russia for alleged spying since the Cold War. In other news, Twitter is being sued again, allegedly for missing payments. This time, it's the annual bonuses promised to staff. A lawsuit was filed on behalf of employees of the social media company in San Francisco federal court Tuesday. The suit alleges Twitter has not paid some former and current employees their 2022 bonuses. This, despite executives repeatedly assuring the workers that they would receive the compensation in the lead-up of Twitter's acquisition by billionaire Elon Musk. Those behind the lawsuit say that they believe Twitter could owe tens of millions to a couple thousand employees. Twitter has not responded to the lawsuit. Well, next, a new way to make food is underway, and it has us asking, where's the beef?
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Hi, everyone. Al Roker here. As a guy with his own catchphrase, I appreciate that Smokey's only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
But I'm filling in because there's a lot more to report. Like when there are parched or windy conditions out there, you gotta be extra careful with things like burning yard waste. After all, wildfires can start anywhere, even in your neck of the woods. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
3-on-3 basketball returns to Jamestown, New York this summer. Collaborative Children's Solutions and partners are hosting a Gus Macker tournament August 19th and 20th in Brooklyn Square. The streets will be packed with a festival atmosphere, bringing the youngest of our Macker mites up to the adult players who compete for the top prize in their divisions. Register online at Macker.com before July 31st. The Jamestown Macker will also include some specialty competitions, making it one of the best community events of the year.
Right here, baby. Look. Oma.
Noah. Something more than a birthday is happening here. Once you can see it, you can help. The sooner you recognize the signs of autism, the sooner you can make a lifetime of difference for your child. Start by answering a few simple questions at screenforautism.org.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
You could soon get a chance to try lab-grown meat. That's because it's now been cleared for sale in the U.S. Two companies that make cultivated chicken say that the U.S. Department of Agriculture has given them the green light. And as Ryan Curry reports, one of them is planning to introduce its product at a well-known San Francisco restaurant.
Looking at this photo, can you tell if this filet came from a chicken or a lab? Upside Foods in Berkeley is producing meat in a different way. They don't get the meat from animals, they make the meat in this lab from animal cells.
You choose the ones that will grow well, that taste delicious. You feed them nutrients that they would normally get inside of an animal's body, but we do it in different cultivators.
Amy Chen, the COO of Upside Foods, says they just received FDA and USDA approval to start selling their chicken to restaurants. They're not approved to sell in stores yet.
Each time you actually produce a batch of meat, the inspectors need to be on site supervising the process and ensuring that we're following all the processes that we've laid out and that high quality and safety are guaranteed based on the way that the product is produced.
Chen says it is a sustainable way to produce meat that is more climate friendly. Soon, Upside Foods product will be on the menu at Dominique Cren's Michelin-starred restaurant Bar Cren in San Francisco. Upside Foods says those eating it won't be able to tell the difference in this product and the chicken they usually order.
It's made out of more than 99% chicken cells, so it's as close to conventional meat as you can get. It's got the taste and the deliciousness, the fibers that you expect of chicken.
Upside Foods says this very well could be the future of meat production in the United States. However, some at UC Berkeley who study this say it still has a ways to go before it actually replaces farms and slaughterhouses.
The impact compared to the capital and the cost and price this will have, everything for us, we don't see how this is going to have an impact really.
Professor Ricardo San Martin studies alternative meat and says labs like Upside Foods often are expensive to run and don't produce as much meat as a farm.
Fermentation, except for wine and beer, is quite expensive. Especially in this case, you're talking of cells of animals that they're very prone to contamination.
But he says there is optimism this could be the future if the production challenges are met. In Berkeley, Ryan Curry, ABC 7 News.
Now, Andrew, this product could be coming to the grocery store sometime soon, and I don't know how I feel about this.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. Personally, that doesn't sound good to me, but to each their own, I guess.
Well, you know what they always say, if you don't know what it tastes like, it probably tastes like chicken.
I think the hamburgers, like the Impossible meat they have, I have never tried it before, but I've heard people say it tastes exactly like a regular hamburger does. Which, how would you be able to tell if you get 2 plates of them? One of them's the real meat, one is the Impossible meat. How could you tell without them telling you?
That's a scary thought to think of.
That's my question, but
is meat real? Do we have to ask that question now? Maybe we'll have that on news tomorrow. But unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for today. We'll leave you this live look over Randolph.